Assalamu alaikum, dear students of class 9. I am M.Ashraf Qureshi Tr.Bhs High School Magam. Today we shall study the topic of your physics, that is conservation of momentum. We are studying the second chapter of physics. We have studied Newton's first law, second law, third law, and today we shall study the topic that is conservation of momentum. According to law of conservation of momentum, when two or more bodies act upon one another, their total momentum remains constant or conserved, provided no external forces are acting. According to the law, when two or more bodies act upon, two bodies act upon collision, guys. When they will act upon one another, निब्रिम फोर्स गए तुमन एक्ट तुमन पे एक्ट की तिहुन मोमेंटम रोजान कांस्टेंट और कंजर्वड प्रोवाइड कि निब्रिम एक्सटर्नल फोर्स गए तुमन यून की. The law of conservation of momentum means that whenever one body gains momentum, then some other body must lose an equal amount of momentum. Ichu wana law of conservation of momentum. Yel akh body ki momentum gain karan chhe, beag body gets tu loss karun. Yani momentum gain is equal to momentum loss. Ya momentum loss by one body is equal to momentum gained by one body. The law can also be stated as momentum is never created or destroyed. Momentum hakono na create is na destroy go ishroza conserve. The law is also known as principles of conservation of momentum. Ach byak nav tivana, that is principle of conservation of momentum. The principle of conservation of momentum is in accordance with Newton's third law of motion, which says that action and reaction forces are equal and opposite. Is in accordance with Newton's third law of motion. To every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Action forces or and reaction forces, they are equal, but their direction is opposite. For example, suppose two bodies, a truck and a car, are moving in the same direction but with different velocities. The body akh truck be car aki direction paka, aki wait chum paka, aki road chum paka, with velocity different. Let the mass of truck be m1, truck hun mass m1, and its velocity be u1. Imuk velocity suppose is karne imuk mass go m1, the image truck velocity go u1, so that its initial momentum is m1. Your initial momentum go m1 u1. Momentum is barabar mass into velocity. Let the mass of car is bya car ati road ami paka temuk mass m2, the its velocity u2. Actually m2 and u is car hans. So the initial momentum of car agar hud gaye m1 u1, yad gaye m2 u2, m2 u2. Thus the total momentum of truck and the car the total momentum of the truck and the car before collision kya hai, iman don karo total m1 u1 go truck hund, m2 u2 go this car hund. This is momentum truck and this is momentum of car. Suppose the truck and the car collide for a short time t. Oman log panvi ishpaka bro gay, for example car poitin to strike toss collision go ekis time in a short time t. Due to the collision, the velocity chunki is periman pan with task go himish velocity they change, himish velocity guys definitely change it putty wuchu kunik come geshit kun jad geshit. Let the velocity cholo isko suppose let the velocity of the truck is per a task hut side image velocity change from u1 to v1, and the velocity of car atus u2 ye banya v2 after collision. So the momentum of truck after collision kya bante him truck m1 u1, m1 mass c magar velocity bane u1. Momentum of car kya bane m2 mass c, u2 velocity of change comes. Total momentum of the truck and the car was before collision tel kya bane m1 u1 plus m2 u2. It is momentum of this car and total momentum of car and truck after collision go m1 u1 plus m2 m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Suppose during collision the truck exerts during collision truck has a force f1 on the car, and in turn car can exert force tim kur wapas f2 on the F2 on the car, force F2 on the truck. Tim kor wapas track pet force yat is wana chh force F2. We will find out the value. We karo is full F1. Car will toss tim kor with the force of F1. Him throws wapas to every wapas log to reaction forces go, so go F2. When force F1 of the truck acts on the car, track through car toss with the force F1 for a time t, then the velocity of the car is per track hun pure toss car his velocity gets changed, definitely gets changed. Kya gets touch velocity v2 you banya u2. So acceleration of car, we kya banya image acceleration, so banya a2 is acceleration of car, you banya v2 is image velocity y final velocity minus use car is going at initial velocity v2 divided by t. Guys, acceleration as a final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken. It's acceleration of car, but force is equal to mass into acceleration. The path force is equal to m into a. So the force F1 exerted by the truck on the car is given. Force F1 kit put you can put demo with. You must substitute value con. F1 is equal to m2 force is equal to mass into acceleration. Skat barabar go m2 v2 v2 minus u2 divided by t. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. This is f change it kara f value yeti dewa. F1 is equal to mass into acceleration. Acceleration value chu ek ye mass ek ye. Acceleration tulas ayuk lago step short it kon yimuk value chu yatnas is lagawa. You go force F1 value. The force F2 is the force exerted by truck on the car. Now the reaction force. The force F2 of the car wapas on the truck for a time t, then the velocity of the truck as gets changed. Get demonstrates v1 u1 v1. So acceleration of truck kya bain a1 is equal to v1 minus u1 final velocity usme gayi minus v1 divided by t be gayi f1 is force into acceleration. F2 is equal to m1 imuk mass track into imuk final velocity minus initial velocity divided by p uses imj. You could as basically nim a badle ye. F1 is action force exerted by the truck on the car, and F2 is the reaction force by the car on the truck. Magar chunki use F2 as opposite asan opposite direction as opposite in according to Newton's third law of motion. Go F1 is equal to minus F2. Minus indicates yim forces direction as opposite. Putting values of F1 and F2 from equation nim to nim F1 tulo is F1 F1 value as kodmut F1 value as kodmut be F2 itulo is yat relation mas F1. F1 is cash value. F1 is value F1 is value M2, this M2 into M2 into V2 minus U2 divided by T. F2 is cash value. F2 is value M1 minus M1 V1 minus U1 divided by T minus sign force opposite each direction. Cancelling chunki t ch buch वैसे यहाँ कोई relation mas cancel te kaida equation पे न फारा की tel क्या दरा m2 v2 multiple minus m2 u2 एक चीज multiple करे is equal to minus m1 v1 plus minus into minus plus m1 u1 ये क्या गो tel m2 u v2 plus m1 v1 ये क्या टून एक equal as your shift your arke sign change when plus m1 is equal to m1 u1 you on your minus when plus ban m2 be which to ye is m2 v2 ye m1 v1 you tor as your ban plus is equal to m1 u1 is already plus you toro is your ban plus rearrange is kara temko lagao m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2 ये initial momentum or initial velocity initial this mass initial momentum this velocity of this truck the car the final momentum of truck and car initial momentum is equal to final momentum. M1 u1 plus m2 u2 represents total momentum of the truck and the car. Each have one total momentum of the car before collision, whereas m1 v1 plus m2 v2 represent the total momentum of the truck and the car after collision. That is total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. And m relation tarus figure momentum is conserved. Yuta ek loss be tuta gain go total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. Hope you have understand it.